So hi guys, welcome to the channel Learn Concepts with Nikhil, Discover, Learn and Grow. So in this particular video, we'll be learning about change management in business analysis, right? So change management is very important in business analysis, right? Like stakeholder management, like requirement gathering, like requirement prioritization. Change management also plays a very critical and crucial role, right? In business analysis. So let's see what is change management and what are the next steps as well as the types of changes, right? So let's see what is change management. Change management in business analysis refers to structured approach to planning, implementing, and monitoring changes in a project, right? For suppose if you get any changes, you have to plan, implement, and monitor it very smoothly. That is nothing but, in simple words, it is a change management, right? You need to change very smoothly, like manage karna hai. Changes ko you have to manage very smoothly by planning, implementing, as well as monitoring them very smoothly in a system or organization. It ensures that changes are introduced smoothly. As I said, you changes are introduced smoothly without while minimizing risks, cost, resistance from the stakeholders. Right. So we have to implement the changes very smoothly in the system that is called change management while minimizing. Like we have to see that there will be less risks, cost will be less. Like while we are implementing change, right, there may be a chance, there may be a scope of risks, costs, and resistance from stakeholders. But as a business analyst, you have to take care of these all, right? You have to implement the change very smoothly in the system. You have to, what you can say, you have to implement, you have to plan, and you have to monitor very smoothly the change while minimizing risks, costs, as well as resistance from stakeholders. So key elements of change management: identifying the need for change. What is the need for change? It may be market shifts, it may be business needs. For example, I said you read pastel analysis: political, economical, social, legal, environmental, as well as pastel, right? Environmental and something, right? Pastel. So based on market conditions, based on political, economical, legal, environmental conditions, there may be a scope to get change. Like we might, for example, we need to change, right? We must change based upon those market trends, market shifts. So we have to identify the need for change. It may be business needs also, or it may be market shifts. Next is assessing the impact. What is the impact of the change? If I change this in my particular system, if I do the change management in this particular system, what is the impact of the change on my system? Karke, we will be assessing the change management change too. Like we will be assessing the change impact of the change too. Like what is the impact on timelines? What is the impact on cost? What is the impact on budget? What is the risks that we can get if we do changes? Karke. So we have to assess as a business analyst. First, we have to identify, and then we have to assess. Next, managing stakeholder expectations, right? We have to manage the stakeholder expectations too. If we do the change in this particular system, is the change matching with the expectations of the stakeholder or not? Karke? They will be having some expectations, right? If the change is happening, so we have to match the expectations of the stakeholders. Next is implementing the change effectively. As simple as that. Ensuring continuous monitoring and improvement. Even it can be understood, right? We have to continuously monitor and improve the changes. So, 1 minute, guys. So, importance of change management. Without proper change management, organizations may face project delays or cost overruns, right? If the change management is not properly managed, if it is not implemented correctly, if it is not implemented properly, then it can lead to project delays and cost overruns, poor adoption of new systems as well as processes, stakeholder resistance, and lack of buy-in. Sometimes your clients or stakeholders in the sense developers or design team will be not agreeing with the changes which you have made, right? So change management is very important. If you are not implementing, these are the drawbacks you will be facing while doing change management: decreased productivity and quality issues. Like benefits of proper change management: ensures a structured process for handling changes, right? Next, reduced risks associated with project modifications. Even if you are doing change, if you have the proper change management, there won't be any delay in project risks and all. Improve stakeholder engagement and communication, right? With the effective change management, it can improve the stakeholder engagement. Like they can engage more properly with the changes, and communication will be good. Collaboration and communication will be good, and ensures alignment with the business goals. So even if you are doing changes, it should ensure that we should ensure that it is in the line with in the same page of business goals or not. Karke. It may be technical change or business change, but it should be in the line in the same page of business goals. So types of change management, changes in business analysis. Sorry, my what you say, my Zoom is sometimes it gives me what you say headaches. So what are the types of changes in business analysis? What first is scope changes, right? First, we will be seeing the example. A client requests an additional reporting feature midway in the project. So for this type of change, we will be following a time and material project. We have discussed in the second or third class, right? Time and material projects as well as fixed bid projects. So for these, for these type of changes, right? Like in the midway requirements will be changing, right? For this type of changes, we will be following time and material projects. So this is an example, and let's see the definition. Modification to the project's features, functionalities, or deliverables. Scope is nothing but we are building some functionality, we are building some features, we are building some deliverables, right? Scope changes are nothing but the changes in the functionality, features, or deliverables, often due to changing business needs or external factors. Basically, it will be happening because of external factors only most of the time. Why? Because we will be building based on some rules, right, of external associations and all. If the rules get changed, we need to change our product. So basically, more than business needs, external factors are the main reason for the scope changes. Next, requires impact analysis before approval, right? So before stakeholders are approving, before clients are approving, you need to do impact analysis. What is the impact if I changes the scope? Karke? So yeah, budget changes. Cost adjustment due to scope changes, resource allocation, and unforeseen issues, right? So scope, if the scope has been changed, the budget will also be changing, right? If you are building something new functionality, then we have to allocate something new budget only, right? Something, not something new budget. If we have to allocate some budget for the new scope we are building, right? New functionality, new deliverables or new features. We have to allocate some budget, right? So it may be happening due to scope changes. Sometimes resource allocation, as I said, if one of your gets sick, you need to bring other resource for some cost, right? As well as you or something resource for even for resource also there will be budget changes for resource allocation and unforeseen issues, some immediate issues, unexpected issues. Requires approval from financial and leader teams as into a new regulatory requirement demands security enhancements, increasing project cost by 20%. Right here, scope is changed as well as because of that scope, budget is also changed. Right. Next is schedule changes. Delays due to resource availability, dependencies, and external approvals. Right. Can impact project delivery and stakeholder expectations. For example, if the particular resource is not available, like you're building a laptop, if some raw materials are not available, then timeline will be changed, right? Timeline will be extended. Even it is also called as dependency. Like your vendor is not, what you can say, your vendor is not delivering the raw material as per the timeline. So the timeline of the project can be changed as well as it may be changed because of postponed external approvals. Can impact project delivery and stakeholder expectations. A vendor delay postpones system integration by 2 months. As I said, you vendor may be postponing so that our project will also get postponed. So yeah, next is quality changes, adjustment in standards, compliance, and performance requirements. So it is based upon the change which is related to quality, basically non-functional requirements. Often occur due to customer feedback, competitor benchmarks, and regulatory updates. Right? Let's see an example. A healthcare application must comply with the new data security laws, requiring additional testing. That is nothing but non-functionality requirement. Right? It should be more secure. in order to what you can say, in order to build, in order to gain the trust of the stakeholders, clients, customers, it should be more secure. So we will be also doing quality changes too. So budget changes, scope changes, timeline changes, or schedule changes, quality changes, and process changes. Sometimes you have to change the process. Instead of following one process, you may be going to another process. So yeah, process changes also are also one of the changes in business analysis. So modifications in workflow, business rules, and operational procedures, right? You'll be changing the process completely. Complete process को change करेंगे हम. Affects employees training and change adoption strategies. Okay. So if you are changing some process, right? Instead of what we can say, instead of following what we can say, instead of building the software with the Java, we can build software with the Django or other programming languages, Python or other programming languages, right? If we are shifting from Java to Python, we need to train our employees, right? We need to train our resources. So by so like we have to change the total process. There may be a condition, there may be a situation where we need to change the total process. So these are also one of the type of changes, right? Affects employees training and change adoption strategies. Okay. And it takes time to adapt to the change, right? They cannot directly build the 100 lines or 1,000 lines of code if they are changing to another programming language, right? So adoption may be taking time. So due to adoption taking time, schedule changes will happen. Due to schedule changes, scope changes, not budget changes will be happening. Because of budget changes, quality changes, and everything is interlinked. So example, a retail company moves from manual invoicing to automated billing systems. It's an example. So steps of change management. First is identify the need for change. Business analysts gather change requests from stakeholders, market trends, and regulatory needs. Example, customer feedback, technology upgrades, and competitive analysis. Nothing but we will be identifying the need for change, right? What is the need for the change? Karke? The need for the change may come from customer feedback or technology upgrades or competitive analysis or competitive benchmarking due to competitors and everything, right? So we need to, as a business analyst, we need to understand and identify the need for change. Then we have to document the change requests. Create a formal change request, including description of the change, reason for the change, as well as potential impact. You can understand, right? It's intuitive and it is simple. Next is conduct impact analysis. Impact analysis is nothing but if I make this change, what is the impact my system is getting? Karke? What is the impact my process or my system or my organization will be facing if I do these changes? Karke? Evaluate cost, schedule, and risk impact, right? I have discussed about it, right? We will be analyzing the cost impact, risk impact, scheduling impact, as well as quality impact and all impacts of the change. Then we will be identifying dependencies and affected teams too. Next is getting approval from the stakeholders. Change is reviewed by change control board, CCB, or key decision makers, right? Some change you are implementing. So before taking the approval, what you can say, it will be reviewed by change control board, and they will be giving approval after reviewing the change which you have documented, right? May require multiple rounds of discussions and modifications. It is quite into implementing and testing the change. We will be implementing the change with the help of developers and testing the change with the help of testers, right? Developers, QA teams, and business users ensure changes are properly executed. We will be also doing a UAT testing, that is nothing but user acceptance testing for the change, right? The change which we have done. Change must be tested in staging environment before deployment. Sorry, full deployment. So it should be done in staging environment. Staging environment is nothing but with a particular set of people as well as a testing, communicating the change. Inform all impact teams through meetings, emails, and documentation updates. So you will be impacting, right? You're not impacting. You will be informing all your stakeholders through meetings, emails, and documentation updates that we are doing this change. Karke. So you will be communicating the change to all the stakeholders, like internal, external influences, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, and influencers too. train users if required. So we will be training the users if it is required for the change. Monitor and evaluate change success. Track KPIs to ensure changes delivered the expected results. So we are doing change by expecting some results only, right? So we will be tracking those progress. We will be tracking those progress with the help of some KPIs, key performance indicators. Conduct a post-implementation review to identify lessons learned. It's nothing but we will be post-implementation review. We will be conducting a, you can say that we will be taking the surveys, we will be taking the interviews whether the change is successful or not. करके. We are implementing post-implementation review to identify lessons learned. So example, a telecom company upgrading its billing system follows these steps to prevent disruptions, right? So yeah. Best okay. So this is for effective communication during change communication. About this slide is about effective communication during change management. Best practices for effective communication. Identify key stakeholders. Understand who is affected by the change. It's simple, guys. You can understand, right? Who are impacted, who are affected by the change. करके we'll be identifying the key stakeholders. Then we will be creating a communication plan. Define how and when updates will be shared. करके. Next, to use multiple communication channels. We will be communicating about the change with them with the multiple communication channels like email, meetings, and dashboards, etc. Address resistance early. Conduct stakeholder workshops and training sessions. So, like conduct the stakeholders workshops and training sessions and say about your change, the change which you are making in your process to the stakeholders, so that if they have any objection, you can clear then and there only, right? Address resistance early. Ensure transparency. Keep all stakeholders informed about the risks, timelines, and expectations, right? It is ensure to. Example, a multinational company implementing a new CRM system ensures regular town hall meetings and feedback sessions with the employees to reduce resistance, right? Yeah. So what are so some of the additional topics are, so risk management in change management, right? You need to identify the risk. The change will be coming with some or the other risk, right? So you need to identify the risk before doing change management, risk identification assessment, and we have to we have to implement the strategies. We have to be ready with the strategies which can mitigate the risk of the particular change we are implementing. Example, a cloud migration project faces a data security risk requiring additional encryption measures. So here we have identified the risk. Data security will be on risk. So we have came up with some mitigation strategy called additional encryption method and additional encryption measures, right? So we need to identify the risk because which is happening due to change, and we have to be ready with the risk mitigation strategies. Tools and technologies for change management. Jira, ServiceNow, Microsoft Teams for for tracking changes. Right, these are the tools. Confluence and SharePoint for documenting. We will be documenting the change control processes and changes. Power BI and Tableau for stakeholder reporting and dashboards. It is optional, but if you have the what you can say, if you have the skills of Power BI and Tableau, it's a competitive edge for you. So measuring change success, key performance indicators are adoption of adoption rate of new processes. Like how many people are adopting my new process. Like if you are changing the new process or new system or new future or new change, how many people are adopting to that change, new process or new future or new user story, right? Number of defects or issues post change after releasing the software which is released after the change, what are the defects, what are the post issues after change करके we will be assessing that also. We will be tracking that also. KPI, stakeholder satisfaction scores, we will be tracking the stakeholder satisfaction. So there is a what we can say, there is a metric called net promoter score, NPS. By doing NPS, We can track the stakeholder what you can say stakeholder satisfaction, secondary satisfaction, and return on investment for implementing changes. For it's easy, guys. You are implementing the change for some or some return on investment only, right? If there is no return on investment, you will not be implementing the change. So you will be checking कि what is the return of investment after me implementing the change. करके. So this is the conclusion, guys. Change management is crucial for project success. It's in Q2. You have to do change management for project success. See, there will be numerous changes, guys, and you need to smoothly do the change management in a particular process or system or organization. Without change management, project will be utterly failed. So a structured change control process minimizes risk, costs, and resistance. We have learned about change control process, right? If we follow the change control process, it will be minimizing the risks, costs, as well as resistance. Effective stakeholder communication ensures smooth adoption, right? Okay, you have to communicate with the stakeholders for the smooth adoption. Business analysts play a key role in facilitating change successfully. We as a business analyst need to play a very crucial role, very critical role in order to implement the change management. Final tip: always document changes. We need to document changes, right, guys? Varna, we cannot say every change in air, right? We cannot do every change in air. वैसा बोलते ही सब लोग समझ जाएगा. It's not like that, right? You have to document the changes and should stakeholder buy-in. So stakeholder buy-in is nothing but approval and continuously evaluate the effectiveness of implemented change. So you have to continuously track the progress of the implemented change, right? So this is about change management, guys. My throat is paining. So yeah, bye.